Hello everyone, my name is Clentus and welcome to the Clan. So without further ado, let's get into this video. But before we get into the video, please do me a favor by smashing that like button, because guys, we've got some few things that we need to discuss, but not in this video. In the next video that we are going to do right now, I just want you to focus on the statement that Ntanzi made to Magistrate Cronje. Well, it's a confession apparently that he made to Magistrate Cronje. I want you to also focus on the style of writing of this particular statement. And I can tell you, as today exists, that the language, the grammar, as well as the style of writing of this particular statement does not sound how Cronje would have written it as a magistrate. I can bet my last toenail on that one. So to me, what Ntanzi had said during the trial, within a trial, in his own words on the stand, I believe it. I believe it, but you will hear, just listen attentively to this particular language that is written in the statement. And then try your level best to listen or maybe remember how Gininda sounds like. And then you make those comparisons. This is the part where your intelligence plays a major role. Your two IQs, they will be going when they are rubbing together. They will seriously be hurting your brain, because you need to pay attention to this particular statement. And then come and tell me that it was Cronje who sat down and wrote that statement while Ntanzi was relaying whatever he was relaying to the, to the interpreter, and the interpreter related to Cronje. Now, you must also remember that the interpreter, Mrs. Whatever her name was, Mutlapeng, she also sounds very posh in how she speaks. And therefore, there is no way that she would have translated or interpreted what Ntanzi said in how the statement sounds. The grammatical errors makes absolute giveaway that this statement was not written by Magistrate Cronje. That's just my take. So please pay attention to the clip that I'm going to post after here. And then later on, I will come back and then we'll have to discuss it. I've got some few pointers that I've picked up that made no sense to me. The amount of contradictions, the amount of fabrications, the amount of questions that I had, and more questions that I had, and then the contradictions of what Muzi told the pointings out of that police officer, whatever his name is. Well, we'll get all the names correctly. I'm not going to focus on the cross-examination by Mr. Mgomezulu and others. I'm just focusing on the nature of the statement that Ntanzi made and the grammar or language that is used. And tell me that a whole magistrate, when they are jotting down or writing down a statement, is that how a statement will sound like? And then if you feel like, okay, because court records are public records, you can go and check out judgments that she has made in the past, read how she writes, and then read this statement and come back and tell me that they sound the same. Just saying. You know, all of us, we have our own styles of writing. How I write and how I speak will have a tendency of sounding the same. Exactly. It's like fingerprints. My fingerprint is my own, and then your fingerprint is your own. Same goes with how you speak and how you write. It's the same thing. Come back and tell me. You know, you can check out Magistrate Cronje's judgments before. I think they can be found on Google as well. Read her judgments before, and then read this statement or listen to the statement. Two different worlds. Anyways, guys, here's the clip. We'll discuss this later when I return. Ciao.
I used to work in Carltonville in 2014.
May I ask my lord, should
No, let the witness read everything and then you'll interpret after. Otherwise, it messes up the record.
I received a call from Sifiso Ntuli.
As jy net kan begin, laat ons skus, jy was onderbreek. Begin by die begin.
If you may start at the beginning.
I used to work in Carltonville in 2014. I received a call from Sifiso Ntuli. He got my number from Muzi. They asked me to come to Basotho Hostel for Sloris. I came to the Basotho Hostel and Sifiso called me to the bedroom. In the bedroom it was myself, Sifiso and Muzi. Whilst in the bedroom, Sifiso told me there was a job that evening. Sifiso and Muzi left the hostel. I remained behind and was drinking and chilling with my friends. Muzi called me to the Vivo vehicle later that evening. He was with Sifiso in the vehicle. When this thing initially happened, we were in Muzi's room and we proceeded to Sifiso's and Ntokosi's room number 1B. While we were in Sifiso's room, Karos and Ntokosiseni Mapisa arrived. Karos and Ntokosiseni Mapisa then called Kelly Kumalu. They told her that they were all right. We all then left in the Polo Vivo. It was myself, Karos, Ntokosiseni Mapisa, Sifiso and Muzi. At the stop sign, another Polo Vivo came and Karos, Ntokosiseni Mapisa, Sifiso and Muzi alighted the vehicle. I remained behind. They spoke amongst themselves and they spoke with Simpiwe, who came in the other Polo Vivo vehicle. Simpiwe gave Ntokosiseni 2 firearms. We then left. We went to the township for Sloris. At Sloris we stopped the vehicle. A call came in. I think it was Kelly, and Karos kept on referring to this person as sisters. Karos got out of the vehicle to take this call, whereafter he called Mapisa, Sifiso and Muzi out of the vehicle. They had a meeting outside the vehicle. They came back to the vehicle. Ntokosiseni took out a firearm and gave it to Karos. Muzi had his own firearm. Sifiso had his own firearm. I was the only one without my own firearm. I had a small one in my pocket, but didn't use it. It was given to me in the vehicle. Karos said to us, we all had to be positioned since we all are going to hit Senzo Majewa. We then all got out of the vehicle. Sifiso was the driver, Muzi was the lookout. Mapisa went to stand by the window, also a lookout for someone who might come out of the window. Karos and I was supposed to get in the house. When we got to the house, he pulled out a firearm. He ordered everyone to lie down and he demanded phones and money. Karos then gave me a phone. I had a plastic bag with me. There was a plastic container on the table with money. Karos gave me the container, which I put in the plastic bag. Everyone was lying down. I believe Karos was told where whatever he was looking for was. Karos was about to open something when Senzo Majewa stood up. There was then a scuffle between them and Karos, between him and Karos, my apologies. During this intense scuffle, Senzo took a chair and hit Karos with it. It appeared as if he wanted to prevent Karos from taking whatever he wanted to take from wherever he was opening. Kelly Kumalu was the one who directed Karos where the thing was, which he wanted to take. During the scuffle, Karos fired 2 shots. I did not see where Senzo was hit, because when the shots were fired, I went outside. I was still in the house when it was fired, and I left the house as Senzo was falling. I ran out. As I ran out, Ntokoziseni Mapisa came in. I ran and got in the vehicle. They remained in the house. I was there plus minus 5 minutes before they came. As I ran to the car, Muzi was standing outside. All came back, Muzi in front, Ntokoziseni and Karos were behind him, following him. We drove away from the scene, and while driving, Karos and Ntokoziseni asked for the phone and plastic container which I gave them. Karos then said, "Here is my watch." We drove to the hostel and went straight to room 1B. Karos then pointed to Sifiso and said he must warn me. If any word comes out that they were involved, then he would kill me. Karos and Sifiso then ordered me to go to the kitchen. The 4 of them, Karos, Mapisa, Sifiso, and Muzi, remained in the bedroom, and they closed the door. Sifiso then came out and gave me 15,000 rand. I was shivering, since I was never involved in such a thing before. We all left the hostel in the Polo Vivo. At the stop street, Mapisa and Karos then got into the other Polo Vivo vehicle and left. During the drive to the stop street from the hostel, Karos kept on pointing his finger at me, threatening me. He was also swearing because I was visibly frightened. I forgot to mention, before they parted ways, the 4 of them first had a meeting outside the vehicle. I also forgot to mention that Ntokoziseni asked Karos at the hostel, "Are you sure you really hit him?" At the stop sign, he pointed me with his finger, saying, "I am telling you, you will," and your worship, Your Honor, there's a profanity word.
Read it, because at the SCA and the Constitutional Courts, they won't be having this document.
"You will shit."
Yes.
And he said, "A deal is a deal." He also said, if he hears anything, he will kill me. He doesn't know my parental home, but Muzi knows, and he will show him. Muzi walked to his place thereafter. Sifiso then said I must not sleep at my place. He took me to a place in Johannesburg, a flat, after picking up his brother in Davidton. Sifiso and his brother then bought liquor and we drank. I went to sleep. Sifiso came to pick me up in the morning. They dropped me off in Davidton. After 2 days, Sifiso gave me further cash. I got a total of about 45,000 rand. This includes the initial 15,000 rand. I then got in a taxi back to Carltonville. I had to change my cell phone number since they kept on calling me, threatening me. One other year, Kwabini Sifiso called me and asked me if I was going to come to his hometown. I went to his house and called him, but he then told me he is at Muzi's house. I then went to Muzi's house. On my arrival, I discovered there was a meeting which was about to end. I do not know what it was about. In this meeting, the fathers of the guys who held the meeting were present. I was there plus minus 3 minutes. When we were asked if we are not family, we should excuse ourselves from the meeting. Kwabini remained, and I went outside. Kwabini later said the meeting was about an altercation between the sisters of Muzi, who threatened to tell the police they had Senzo killed. That's all.
Nou, mevrou, as ek net kan terugvat na bladsy 7,
If I were to take you back to page 7,
paragraaf 13,
paragraph 13,
Uma singathatha futhi sibuyise ku page 7 ku paragraph 13.
waar u te kennen gee dat die verklaring is neergeskryf in die woorde in die deposant se eie woorde
where you indicated that the statement was taken down in the deponent's own words,
en bestaan uit 6 bladsye.
and that it consists of 6 pages.
La ubhale ukuthi lesi statement kubhalwe amagama wakhe umsolwa noma umuntu lo bekasitshela le statement. Lesi statement sona sinama page awu 6.
Nou, as iemand vir jou sou sê dat hierdie aanhangsel JJ en hakies 1 wat so pas ingehandig is, nie voor u voltooi was nie, wat sal die kommentaar wees?
If someone was to say to you that this exhibit, JJ in brackets 1, which has just been handed in, was not completed before you in your presence, what would you say?
Eerstens, dit is nie korrek nie.
Firstly, that's not correct.
Uma ingabe umuntu angathi le lobufakazi lobu abugcwaliselwa ngaphambi kwakho wena uzothini uthi into yokuqala ngizothathisa iqiniso lelo.
Die partye was voor my gewees
The parties were before me,
Labo bantu bebakade bephambi kwami
en dit is afgeneem in my eie handskrif.
and it was taken down in my own handwriting,
futhi
En hulle
ubhalwe
teenwoordigheid.
ngesandla sami
in their presence.
bekhona nabo.
En as iemand verder vir jou sou sê dat na die aflegging van die verklaring is die deposant geneem na afgeleë plek as Phyllis Storter terrein in Boksburg,
And if someone was to further say to you that after the taking down of the statement that the deponent was then taken to this secluded area, a dumping site in Boksburg,
dat die polisie toe aanhangsel A te voorskyn gebring het wat reeds voltooi was,
and that the police then brought forward Annexure A, which was already completed,
Bese uma umuntu angathi ngemva kokuthi kugcwaliswe leso statement bese umsolwa uye wathathwa wayisuka eBoksburg kwindawo thizeni la bekade ivulekile walethelwa sona lesi statement.
en dat die deposant te lyf gegaan is aangerand en gemartel, wat sal die kommentaar wees?
and that the deponent was then assaulted. He was assaulted and
Gemartel,
yeah.
torture.